Hey there you, and welcome to an Imperial Guard landing zone. As today, unfortunately for the Imperials, they've landed on an orc-infested planet. And as they've barely made planetfall, there's not really much support down here for them. We have a few squads of Cadians, a couple of Death Corps of Krieg, and even a few Space Marines thrown into the mix. Now, unfortunately for the Imperials, the landing zone that they've chosen has got them penned into the back of a cliff, so there's actually no retreat for them here today. So can Imperials survive the 2.2 million onslaught of an Orky war? But just before we do kick off today's fight, firstly, thank you for clicking on the video, and if you do find yourself coming here on the regular, why not subscribe? You're already coming here to watch the content. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Go ahead, check it out down below. And with all that out of the way, I think it's time to start our war. Well, let's kick this off right away, and look at that, the Cadian gunfire opening up on the Orcs. Now, the Orcs, unfortunately for the Imperials, have basically hopped on them straight away. As soon as the first landing craft here have dropped off the infantry, the Orcs are right upon them. The Imperials have had no chance to even think about setting up defenses here, so they're just going to have to make do with what they've got. They've not been able to land any tanks, they've not been able to land any artillery here. This is just going to be a pure infantry fight, and as such, the Orcs have got quite a large scouty body here, but them Cadians, man, them auto guns ain't messing around, taking down wave after wave of Orcs, as we're already reaching the heights of 10k kills here, which is pretty impressive for this initial defense. But of course, we all know that in the annals of history for the Imperium, this battle will just be noted as a clerical error. That's it. Someone in the higher ups here is definitely going to get a bolt round to the head for this logistical nightmare that's proceeding to happen. Landing right in the middle of an Orc raiding party, probably not the best option to do here, but the Imperials have been dealt the cards. The Space Marines are here to back them up, so they're going to try their best. Already, though, we're at 30,000 kills, and we've got this lovely little gulag that's appeared at the foot of the hill. And I think already, yeah, it's time for little Timmy to get out his rubber dinghy. He can go swimming in that one. Fun for the entire family here as the Orcs mount their assault against the Cadian defense. Cadians, though, holding firm with these box formations. By the way, I've dubbed this the dog paw defense. So we've got the main part of the center with all the feet coming out of the edges here. Looks kind of nice, though. It seems to be working at the moment. Okay. The Space Marines here, the targeting systems have found that there's Orcs on the other side, and they're trying to shoot them, but no, that there's a hill in the way at the moment for them. But at least we know that the Orcs are in range here. As they swarm this Cadian defense, this is holding really nicely, though. Cadians extracting a lot of kills for their lives. 6,500 losses here to the Imperials. Pretty much every box formation now has been almost surrounded, apart from this one over here. This has just been having a good old time, providing a covering fire to the rest of them, until the Orcs decided, nah, we can't have any more of that. There's some grumping to be done here, lads. Mega Knobs also making their way up to that front line, also getting gunned down, though. The Cadian firepower is strong today. Orcs experiencing a world of hurt as they try to mob in. But the lads have got numbers on their side here. Still 2.2 million, essentially, on the field here. So while the Cadians are doing a good job, it is not good enough yet. We're going to have to hope that the Death Corps of Krieg and the... speaking of, it looks like the Orcs have poked the beehive. The cliffside defense here. A bunch of Kriegers with shovels have made their way forward. Formed a solid line of defense, and now that Imperial Guard firepower and the Space Marine bolter fire is just raking the side of that hill, racking up the kills on the Orcs. We got this body landslide going on down here as all the corpses slide down to the bottom of the hill. Is that a goo wave down there? No, it's just a puddle forming at the bottom. Look at that. A glorious countercharge here by the Imperials, holding the Orcs in place. And that bolter fire is so heavy. It's just absolutely annihilating them there. Looks like a bunch of Kriegers have come up to support the box formation as well. With the Cadians. Okay, that's kind of interesting as the rest of them now start to falter. We've got the last remnants of this one here. Looks like this one has been overwhelmed completely. And we've got just a little gaggle. A gaggle over here. There we go. They died as soon as we arrived. And now the Orcs are going to launch a full-on assault here then. Oh, look at this. There's actually a little gap at the back of the cliffside here that the Imperials are defending. Loads of Kriegers charging down the hill to try and plug that gap. doing the best they can, but they've committed a lot of their forces to this side of the field. Don't know if that's going to be a wise choice here by the Imperials. Again, look at this. We've got loads of fire support that came up running up to the hill. The Death Corps of Krieg here taking the high ground as quickly as possible. But they may just be cut off from the rest of the forces now. But they are providing some decent covering fire here for the melee troops. The Cadians on this side still holding firm. Again, them shovels coming in the nick of time, helping to hold that flank. They only took a few losses by the looks of it on that flank there. And this battle is turning brutal. Orcs have got free roam in the centre here. But, again, Space Marines providing that covering fire. Able to blast up the hill. Basically unable to miss in this target-rich environment. Imperials setting up a nice little perch on the lip of this hill. Able to put down massive amounts of covering fire into that Orky army there. And the Orcs are taking brutal losses here. 200,000 losses now. But the Imperials have lost 26,000 to achieve this, which is not a good sign. There's still over 2 million Orcs here. This is what happens when you try to invade an Ork planet. I mean, if you get your logistics wrong here, the Orcs ain't gonna, you know, they're not gonna wait around. They're just gonna swarm in. They want to fight. And that's exactly what they're doing. Oh my god, look at this. In the background there, you can see that the rest of the Kriegers now have been surrounded. We're out of shovel lads on this point of the field. The Cadian defense is starting to fall. But the Death Corps are actually holding out pretty nicely as well. It's all buying time, lads. It's all buying time. But that's a large sacrifice of firepower here that we're going to lose on this field. But again, they're making it their last stands count here. Taking out lots of Orcs in the process. I just need to keep an eye on that flank over this side, because the Orcs are trying to break through this now pretty heavily. And there's a lot of Imperial firepower over this side. It is raining down death on the front line of the Orcs. How are we doing with shovel troops over here? So it looks like there's a break in the line. The Orcs are about to come swarming down that hill. We've still got loads in reserve over here, but whether they'll actually start coming up over this side is a different question. Hopefully we can stop them at the base of the hill. That'd be really nice for the Imperials. It'll really allow them to get a load of kills in again, because essentially, like I said, you're looking at a really target-rich environment. And if you're shooting at the front line of Orcs here, even if you miss, the bullets are going to go upwards and behind and land into the Orc mass. So yeah, shooting uphill in this game at least, very effective. We need more Kriegers committed to this line. Oh my god. The Olympic Orc roly-poly team here going down the side of the mountain. But surely that's just a good sign. Look at that surge of Orcs come forward. Trying to smash into that Krieger front. Krieger's been really resolute here though, holding that line firmly. Extracting a high cost for their lives. We've got 27,000 defenders remaining. It's only just under 2 million. The Imperials have killed 300,000 here. This is brutal. I mean, now that they're getting attacked from two sides, it's almost like an Orky version of the drop site massacre. Let's face it, they're just... they're getting probed from both sides now. They're caught in the middle. They had no idea. But again, it's not really like it. No one's turning traitor here or anything like that. But, you know, it's just a drop site that's been sandwiched where the inhabitants of said drop site look like they're about to get eradicated. Having said that, there's actually a lot of Imperial Guard firepower here. And if they started to concentrate it in one particular area, that could be devastating. Like I said, this push here for the Orcs is really costly, especially as they get into the Space Marines now. These Space Marines are really tanky. They can take quite a beating here. And they're essentially firing explosive rounds. Just, you know, it's a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, basically. I always think of that as the bolter is basically a rapid-fire 40mm grenade launcher. But the grenade has a rocket on the back of it, and it can explode with a time fuse that fragments. So, you know, pretty powerful weaponry, really. Just what you need for dealing with a big Orky horde. Just look at this battlefield. The Kriegers down here, though. Look at these guys. They were holding the top of the hill up here. They've pushed all the way down here. Just left this beautiful mosaic of orky corpses behind them. But we've got a bunch of Meganobs on the flank here who are wreaking havoc. Oh my god. They actually took down a Meganob with a shovel then. And another one. Imagine being a Meganob, dressed in all that armor, one of the biggest, baddest units on the battlefield, and then a shovel takes your life. That is not a way to go when you're an Orky. They're actually starting to thin out the reinforcements here by the Orcs by the looks of it. I mean, maybe not thin out the reinforcements, but the travel distance is getting greater, meaning that the Imperials are really starting to actually get a lot of kills in here. Get Space Marines holding their own. I like how the Imperials move about the entire battlefield, but the Space Marines are like, no, we were told to hold this position. We shall not move. Just literally standing still. They're not even set to hold position here. So they are free to move around the battlefield if they wished, but no, they're just true to character. This is our land. Let's stand. And they are completely surrounded almost here. Is this impassable now? Oh, ladies and gents, little Timmy can get his out his submarine and that one. Oh my god. That's a gigantic blood lake, and that's going to offer some natural defense here because I don't think that's passable. So if the Orcs want to get across that now, they're going to have to build up corpses and make a corpse bridge to get across there, which really is good for the Imperials. It means that some of the focus fire can be focused to different flanks here from the rear. They don't have to worry about one of the corners. And while the Imperials may only be down to 15,000, these 15,000 are in a really strong defensible position here. Again, look, the Orcs are going to get funneled into these little narrow attack angles. This end of the Krieger line might get nibbled off, as we like to say in the business. But, yeah, look at this position here. Again, they've got the Blood Lake on the side, natural defense. They've got a cliff face on the other side, natural defense. Orcs here are going to be funneled right into that firepower. And already, they are absolutely taking a hammering. We're at 500,000 kills now for the Imperial Defenders. Oh my god, look at how many Orcs are here. There's so many. Oh my god. Look. Just look at that. And the crazy thing about this is it's only 2.2 million. Can you imagine what the actual army is that, you know, like something that assaulted Armageddon? What was the size of Gazgol's army? Was it 10 billion Orcs or something like that? I can't remember the exact number now, but yeah, can you imagine what that would actually be like? The cacophony of sound and noise. The smell of the battlefield would be atrocious. But at the moment, the Orcs are making some progress, and oh, look at this. As I was saying, they'd have to make a corpse bridge. Well, the Orcs said, okay, boss, we'll make a corpse bridge. Oh my days. Asking ye shall receive. But yeah, like I said, I think unfortunately the Death Corps of Krieg on this side of the field here, pretty much done for. They're getting surrounded by Orcs. There's no retreat anymore unless they want to jump off a cliff, but that's not really in a Kriegsman's nature, is it? So they're going to hold this position until the last man extracts as many kills in the name of the Emperor as they can. But again, look at this wonderful focus fire here, creating another body avalanche down the side of the mountain. And these guys on this side have actually basically just been free to provide covering fire here. Orcs largely leaving them alone for some reason. I don't know why that is. Oh, as I said there we go. Literally, as I said that, a few stragglers start to come off that way. But the Space Marine defense in the center, it holds, ladies and gentlemen. It's holding really nicely. That explosive bolter fire doing a number on the Orky mob that's amassed here. What are we at now? 600,000. I mean, it's a tall order for the Imperials to do this. I think this is pretty much a loss for the Imperials, but it's what kind of loss is here? Is it going to be an absolute sad and tragic defeat, or is it going to be a heroic victory? You know, in the sense that everyone died in a glorious fashion. Well, we've only got 11,000 ways to find out at the moment. God, these guys are still holding out. Well, that's the Kriegers for you. They're just holding out really nicely. Holding back the enemy. Man, there's so many of them, though. The orcs, look at this, with a massive number of orcs here. There's just no matter where you're, the entire hillside is covered in orcs. Oh my god. Here we go, some knobs have entered the field now as well, just to make the Imperials' day worse. Again, guys with big pneumatic claws, just here to ruin everyone's day. The Kriegers are actually mopping this up really nicely. God, the unit models for these are pretty bad. They're so low poly. But they do the job. It's a green blob. It moves. It has a pneumatic claw. Look at this assault that's going on here. So many orcs, though. 700,000. 700,000 kills for the Imperials, and it's not even a dent in the Orky army. Oh my god. Yeah, this is a sad day here for the Imperials. But like I said, it's a question of what glory can be had on the battlefield now. Look at this lake, though. This is magnificent. This is a deep, deep ravine of goo. Again, like I said, providing really good natural defense here. The Orcs not able to push that side of the field at all. And our Space Marines are still holding firm here. Oh, man. I wonder who's going to go down first. Is it going to be the Kriegers? Is it going to be the Space Marines on that side? I don't know. What we're going to do, we're just going to time-lapse, and it's going to be the Kriegers, obviously, who die first. We're just going to time-lapse the Kriegers here dying, and then we'll be back to watch the final defense with the Space Marines. Well, here we are, ladies and gents. The Death Corps have finally fallen on this side. They put up a defense there for about a good solid 5 minutes, I'd say. But getting swarmed by orcs for 5 minutes and holding out like that while completely surrounded, that's impressive. But here we go. The surge is happening. Thousands of orcs come swarming forward now, with the only targets left on the field being the Space Marines. And the final Death Corps recruitment. Actually, I'm noticing now, we've got quite a few shovel troops in amongst the middle of these guys still. How they've survived this long, I do not know. I think they're just stuck in the middle here. But this is a brutal all-over assault here. Completely surrounded on all sides. The Space Marines are making their last stand. So what we got? 5,000 left against 1.4 million. Place your bets now, ladies and gents. What's going to be the final remaining amount of orcs here? I'm reckoning these guys can probably kill maybe another 40,000, I would say. Maybe 50,000 before they get overwhelmed. That's my guess. Because the orcs ain't messing around now. They surround them on all sides here. And there's mega knobs in amongst them ranks, and they can crush Space Marines. If they get caught in them pneumatic claws, they're going to get ripped in half. Now, on this side of the field, it looks like actually we're doing all right here. They are holding them back. It looked like there was a little bit of a gap there, a little bit of breathing room, unlike the rest of the battlefield here. God, look at all the Storm Boys. There's them gigantic cleaving axes here, trying to chop the Death Corps in half. Death Corps trying to have none of it. And this is just brutal. 840,000 kills, so the Imperials have done very good of making, a bad situation work to their advantage. They've killed a lot of orcs for this. And while the orcs may have the final victory here, because, yeah, there's 1.3 million of them, let's face it. While the orcs may have the final victory, like I said, the Imperials have done a good job of making this work. This final defensive formation here has killed so many orcs. Just look at the body piles that are actually around it. These hills weren't here before. All these are dead orcs underneath that the other orcs are having to trample over to get towards. And I mean, of course, let's not forget the star of the show. The gigantic goo lake here now, which is, I don't know, it's as deep as an ocean. It's ridiculously deep. It's actually getting to a point where I think it's... Okay, it's not only deep, it's leaking off the side of the freaking mountain. And it's formed 3 other puddles down here, which little Timmy can also go swimming in. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't even realize that. And look, there's another little one over here. That's insane. Oh, so... Wait. We could fill up this area with goo, couldn't we? I'm really tempted to make some sort of time-lapse video where I just try and fill this map up with goo. This is one of my own custom maps that I've built called Rolling Hills. And it's just loads of little hills like this. And the idea was that it could create loads of little puddles of goo. So yeah, I might go ahead and try and film some crazy time-lapse video where we try to fill up the map with loads and loads of goo. Probably get some of them insane archers on the go, a few Chuck Norrises on into the mix. Get to 10 million zombies and see what happens. Well, anyway, coming back to this, let's see what happens here. Because we are in 100% in Last Stand mode now. I mean, I'm basically probably thinking about time-lapsing this because there's not really that much action going on other than the hundreds of thousands of orcs dying at the front lines here. So yeah, what I'm going to do, we're going to hold the camera in place here. Because what we should be able to see with the time-lapse is the corpse pile building up around the Imperials here as the last 3,000 make their defense. We'll be back in a moment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it comes down to here. We've got 400 defenders remaining from the drop site. we got the Apocalypse Now Space Marine special going on here, coming out of the water, thinking he's in Vietnam. But yeah, look at that. Absolutely amazing stuff here. They did such a good job of defending this. Look at that blood lake as well. Oh my god. So it looks like in the end then the orcs managed to get a few bodies built up over the path over the top of it, and that's oh my god, yeah. Okay, we can definitely do some crazy things on this map with the gooey goo. We're gonna try that out at some point. Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Space Marines here coming down to the last 300. And they did a really good job. I mean, look at this. There's only 1 million orcs remain on the field here. But I think, as the last few defenders here tried to hold out the resistance, one of the Deathcore of Krieg reaches into his pocket and presses a little red button, which activates his pocket-sized nuclear device. And as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace!